Nah, it's fine. All right, we are in. Woo! All right, finally, God. It's been hard because we were first setting everything up before you came. By the way, just want to tell everyone on Uncion, this was random. You agree, right? Because
yes,
I don't want people to think I'm lying after this.
No, it's
but
random.
Yeah, totally random. Bueno, Uncion para poder bendecirle a ustedes this time. Aquí está Daniel Lubombo with his beautiful sister over here.
Aracely, the one.
That's
hey,
right.
everybody.
That's right. And we're excited. We're excited. Since my my birthday, we were setting up this this type of podcast type of look. So you're the first one that hit it up. No, was it Dad? No, Dad kind of hit it up first, and then it was you. Yeah. So first I want you to say what's up to them because they're like, "Why are you talking?" Second, I want you to tell them what we're gonna be doing on November 5th.
Oh yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here tonight. It's really a pleasure to always be part of this beautiful audience, and we are working on a women's conference November 5th, Saturday, which is around the corner. And we will be ministering the fear upon many women. So we are focusing and concentrating and ministering the women in the LA area, or anybody that can visit us to our church. That would be great because it is going to be a very wonderful morning. It's going to start at 10 a.m. We're going to have different topics. We'll have different people ministering the word and some worship as well. But I think that I'm really excited for this, our second conference.
The second conference, that's right.
This will be our second one. And it's really preparing women to go into 2023. We're ending the year, but at the same time, we are getting ready for the next year. So I think that's always important to start the new year not on January 1st, but a couple months before, preparing your mind, your spirit, your soul, and getting ready for what God has for you for 2023.
Yeah, that's what I've been talking to them lately. Sorry we're not looking at you. It's because the conversation's here, so you look at us now. Before launching into next year, I believe there should always be a preparation no matter what.
Right. It's like preparing for anything else, right? You're going to run the marathon. Well, you got to train like 6 months in advance or a year, depending on your stability of endurance. But you always have to prepare yourself with the right nutrition, training, and physically, and your soul, your mind, your spirit. So it's the same way. I think in life we are running that marathon. We are going through that war of or someone going to the army, going to the war. You have a preparation of training before you even get to that point. So it's important to make sure that we go into the next year, 2020. I'm super excited, Danielle. Aren't you excited about 2023?
That's how it's done. Obviously, that's how it's done, son. But I mean, ma'am. But no, seriously, because I feel like I've been preparing myself for this thing. I've been telling you about it. I told the church about it. Rocket ship season.
Oh yes.
So
yes.
I believe that we're about to rev it up pretty hard, and why not start now?
Absolutely.
It's because everything needs a preparation. Man, this year I felt like I even prepared myself physically.
I agree. Size 34 now, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, yeah, and then I'm able to wear Dad's belt now too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm able to wear Dad's belt. So
great accomplishment.
I know. Like honestly, it has been, and I just damn. Well, physically, emotionally, spiritually, it's been a pretty crazy ride. It's been a pretty crazy ride. But I feel like with every preparation, you feel like the time comes closer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like it's about to, get up there. But you touched something pretty heavy. And that is ministering what you're going to be doing, ministering to women about fear. I feel like fear sometimes could stop our launch into victory. It's like if an astronaut chickens out and he just gets out of the spaceship and just goes like, the hell what's going on here, you know? So he just gets out. So you need to be brave to conquer. You know, we see Joshua, right? That the Lord told him to be brave. He commanded him to cross and to be brave. So you can't be scared. So I feel like one of the things that block you into moving and transgressing to this new season of victory and prosperity, we could put in the ways, and like being blessed by everything that comes towards us, is not to have fear. You know, and I know God is choosing a lot of us to enter and cross into this new dimension we could put of power. But what I think is that many of us are being blocked by fear. Like, what if because God could tell you, start this business. Right. Start ministering this way. Start conferences. Start a YouTube channel. No, it's like this little thing. Start podcasting. Start sharing the word of God with your friends. Right. Start sharing the word of God at work, right? Start testifying what you used to do before. I don't know. You got brought out of alcoholism or drugs or any type of addiction, whatever. Start testifying it. But Lord, I'm scared. What if they, and if they, and if. So I feel like we are stopped by the if.
And not just that, but I think it's important to identify why there's even fear, right?
That's right, talking to that.
Thank you.
We need that.
It's important to identify why there's fear, because a lot of times if there's some kind of an event, a trauma, it places fear in your mind, and from that fear you cannot move forward. You're stuck in time, and a lot of times we don't even know why we can't move forward, right? Sometimes you're scared of loving again because someone hurt you at one point of your life. Or you were in a really bad relationship and you were mentally abused and you feel like, oh my God, if I get into another relationship, I will be abused again. So you're scared.
It's like, what if I enter this? Will it go the same? What if? I've learned the what if destroy. Okay, sorry for my language, but everyone already knows this. It destroys the crap out of you. I've already told Uncion, you gotta get that crap out of your mind. It's because too much like thinking of because people like, what are people go, think of the endless possibilities. I'm like, oh, why'd you do that? I'm like that because people start thinking like, you know, what could fail and go wrong? What could self-destruct, right. You know? And I also remember, you know, in the scripture, it talks about how God calls Jeremiah and, you know, he became a prophet of nations. He calls him out. Me? I am just a kid. And then in Hebrew tradition, he was being 20 was still being a kid. Like he was like, well, they say he was around 18, 20. So and then 18 to 20 years, all right. So like, I'm just a kid. I can't speak. We got Moses became he delivered the deliverer. I think you could put it that way. The deliverer of Egypt, of Israel's people. I choose you to speak to Pharaoh. I can't even speak, Lord. Because these dudes in their mind probably thought, what if I look stupid? I'm going to go up to Pharaoh and I'm gonna seem like, wait, I was about to get a little too comfortable, like when we talk, whoops. See, when we talk on the phone, we get a little too deep with this. Go bring it back, right? I mean, it's like someone said, you know, Lord, sanctify me now. But it's like, where I want to get to is that you think you're going to look stupid. And then like, so you think God gives you a word. You get sent out with a word from God. But sometimes you just don't get all the details. I'm serious. God calls you to do something. Okay, prophet of nations. Lord, can I get details? He didn't give you the details. That's how it works. That's how it works.
Manual for details.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, you know, you're telling me to do this. So you have to like take the risk. And people don't know how to take the risk. It's like, Lord, you're calling me. He called Moses. Okay, you know, burning bush, all that jazz, right? Calls him in. Okay. So, and then we see that, you know, talk to Pharaoh. So we see all this going on. And then, okay, so these dudes in their mind, like Jeremiah, we got it's gonna come to me, but we got Gedeon, which is Gideon. He calls him soy inútil, I am a reed. You know, I'm just dumb to even do this. You sure you're talking to me? And God had so much patience, but I've always learned that overdoing patience delays what you could get to in the future. What do you think about that?
Right. No, I agree. A lot of times we're scared to move forward and to just act. We think too much sometimes. We think like, okay, maybe if you're too busy planning that you just sometimes need to just do it. Because when you overthink, you don't do anything. You're too busy thinking. So you're kind of like in a pause situation. You're in a pause. You're like on hold because there's too much things that you're thinking about that you just don't know.
You know, you got me thinking about something. There's certain seasons of your of life or moments of life that you gotta pause. But this year we're getting into the go. So yeah. So well, there you go, right? I mean, there you go. Yeah, like honestly, there you go. So then you go. You know, it's time to go. I've been telling people it's time to go, and I already told you what the G.O signified in my dream. Remember that it was God's order. So God's commanding us and ordering us to go. But the problem is fear is conquering many people. Okay, now I don't know if you what do you think about this? I'm about to lay down on the table right now. We're about to lay down, right? But do you think that low self-esteem and not having confidence within yourself activates fear?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the triggers in your brain that because the way you feel, well, obviously everything starts from the brain, right? Your thought process, and then it goes into a feeling, and then that feeling you behave, right? So there's mind, feeling, and behavior. So then if there's that thought of like, oh, what about if something's going to go wrong? What about if whatever's in your brain, it's either going to make you go or it's going to make you hold and stop and not do anything. And some people, sadly, go for years and years never doing anything. It's like, go get a new job, try to make more money. Well, what about if they fire me? I mean, you don't know until you try. You don't know what's going to happen until you do it. And then you're like, okay, this is what happens. But if you are creating your own story in your head, thinking, well, what about if this is going to happen and it's all negative, then nothing's ever going to happen. And so you have fear all the time.
Exactly. But so to get rid of fear should be more building your confidence to be able to do, right?
Right. And it all starts in your mind. Really, like whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? Whatever it is how do you see yourself in 2023? What is it that you want to do? Everybody has different plans, right? We all don't have the same plans, but we all have like different goals, different things that you want to accomplish in life. Or next year in 2023. I'm very excited about 2023. I know that there's a lot of speculations of a lot of things happening because there's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on with the economy, the unknown, inflation going up, interest rates going up. There's so much going on in the world.
Damn the gas.
But I think that at the end of the day, we have a God, right, that is with us, and we should not fear. We should not fear what's going on.
And then you know, God tells Joshua that before he sends him out, like, do not fear. I am with you wherever you go.
Exactly.
So, like, you know, years changing doesn't matter. Like, you're going to this new year, but I'm with you in this new year. You know, and we see that God with all these. Men of servants of the Lord that I have mentioned, God gives them and injects. I could say it that way. Injects confidence. You know, with Moses, see more miracles happening, and with we also see with Joshua. You know, the more he was conquering, he started obtaining. I imagine they were like, dude, you know, what can I not do with the Lord, right? Because first, you got Jericho's walls falling.
Right.
Well, I mean, let's go back. So let's start with Moses, right? You know, it's because there's Bible geeks that are watching this. So, I mean, they probably get pissed. And, I mean, I am one of them. But They probably get pissed. Hey, dude, you have to say the order right. Moses, the Joshua. Okay. So Moses... No, someone actually told me that one. That was the crazy part. Like, what are you talking about? You have to flip those. When I was preaching, they're like, that's one of the things you did wrong. I was like, dude, chill, man. Like, when you're in the spirit, you don't know what you're saying. I mean, you're being guided, right?
You're really talking about your topics, and there's no orders about like, well, Joshua did this, and then Moses did this, right? So you just
no, but okay, well, all right. So Moses, extend the staff to get people out of Egypt, right? The water turning into blood, you see the plagues, everyone knows what else happened. Then you see the Red Sea opening, maná cayó del cielo, you got all that stuff going on. You got Joshua conquering conquering to going to the promised land, takes down Jericho, the walls fall, they do that prophetic act around it. So these guys are seeing what God could really do. Like, they're seeing, like, well, this is the real deal. We're over here, like, obeying what God's sending us out to do. We're being sent out here by a word of God. So, what do I want to get to? We sometimes have to work it to see what we're producing, and with what we're producing comes that confidence. And we start building an identity with Christ, right? We start building an identity with God, like, the God I serve could actually pull this stuff off. Well, I mean, obviously, right? The God I serve could do so much more. If this is working. But what can you say to people? Now, this is just opening up, like, what can you say to people that are not seeing a sign from God? Because, I get people talking, like, they go like, Daniel, like, because just to let you guys know, my family calls me Danny, but everyone else calls me Daniel. So they go like, Daniel, like, what do I do, man? Like, am I doing something wrong? I'm not seeing anything produce.
And you start questioning yourself, right?
Exactly. But and then, like, don't we see Elijah do that? Look, this dude be taking out, like, I know this doesn't sound funny to a lot of people. This dude just dropped fire from the sky and murked all these guys, these false prophets of Baal, right? He just murks these guys, Sé notorio que yo soy tu siervo, Dad always preaches that, right? And he says it pretty sick, like, sé notorio que yo soy tu siervo, like that. By the way, legitly 100% Pentecost saying it, right? So he just says it, when Dad always says, I get pumped up. Okay, fire falls from the ground, destroys all those dudes, burns them to a crisp, gets a dagger, okay, does all these amazing things. Jezebel comes in, afflicting what? Fear. He runs into the cave depressed. So he starts seeing, like, God, are you there? Are you seriously there? And the crazy thing, my bad for talking so much. The crazy thing is that this dude hides in the cave, scared because they said that Jezebel sent a spirit to talk to Elijah. I'm gonna kill you. I'm seriously gonna, like, murk the hell out of you because you just killed all these other guys. 450 false prophets. Well, including the other 450 satanic ones, the sacerdotes satanicos, it would be like 850 of them killed. Dude, I don't want to boast. Like, I don't want to show off. But if I was Elijah, it would be like, dude, you just took the 850 of them. Right. Like, dude, and him just getting scared over here after one little spirit just coming. I'm out to get you. I'm gonna kill you. And I feel like sometimes it's those little things that the enemy throws in the mind.
Right.
That discontrols you and makes you run in. All right. So now, do you believe there are people that have seen God move in a dimension and in a way that's like so supernatural, but now are hiding in caves?
Oh, yeah. I think that it happens all the time to Christians, right? Believers of God. It happens all the time that when your petition, right? Whatever you're asking God for, what is it that you want to see in your life? If you don't see a sign, if you don't see the Lord answering that prayer, then you start questioning yourself. You start asking yourself, there's something wrong with me. Maybe it's not meant to be. is God far away from me? Is he not listening to me? And there starts to be like a lot of doubtfulness in your mind and in your spirit, because it affects you. It really brings you down. And so when you're thinking about it, and you're actually, the devil's ministering you in that way, putting those thoughts in your mind, and it even pushes you away from God's presence. And when he pushes you away from that God's presence by saying like, God is not with you.
Dude, and then the crazy thing is that we see Elijah try to see God in 3 different forms. If I'm not mistaken, first it was by him searching for him in the wind. After that was in fire. Sorry if the order's not right. And after that, it was through an earthquake. And then when he just all got quiet, he just comes up to him and just like whispers. Like, I'm putting in my own words, and God help me not put them in my own words. Like, the hell? Like, what are you doing in there? Like, Elijah, what are you doing in there? And, you know, it sucks. And then, like, he said that the sun was so bright on his face. Like, it was like, what? He told him, like, come out. He comes out. He's like, you know, like, people don't like, you know, when you turn off the lights for a long time at the movies, like, oh, God damn, the lights. Like, I just imagine, like, they're like, what? Soy yo que me está hablando. And you know, the whole chinito, like, you know, like that. And I'm just like, it's like, you've seen so much of God move, and you just fall into that. I mean, we're human. It can happen to anyone. I mean,
well, let me tell you, what would you tell someone that says, I've been asking God for something, but he's not responding. What should I do now? When do you stop? Is it meant? Do you stop?
So you're trying to ask if there's like a stop. Did you just turn the table on me?
I'm just wondering, like, what your opinion is on this.
But you just turned the table on me. Like you legitimately did. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty fun. So wait, restate your question again. Sorry. So like, what was it?
So what do you tell someone that has been asking God for something, right? Like a prayer, right? Like request, and they don't see God's answers, because we're talking about signs, right? Like, and then people start feeling doubtful and start feeling like, oh, God's not with me, or God's not listening to me. When do people know when to stop? Should they stop or should never stop? Because you know how sometimes things are not meant for you, but you're the one saying, I want this to happen.
So you're saying that there's people that go after the wrong pursuit?
Yeah.
And what would I say to someone with the wrong pursuit?
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. There's certain seasons of someone's life, of your life, our lives, that there's a stop and a go. Like when you're driving. So I believe when you change to the next season, you sometimes have to drop what you did before. Okay. Oh God, here it goes. This is a good one. This is like, I just thought about it right now. So David, not you, David. Now I'm talking about David, right? King David. All right. He fought Goliath with a slingshot. The Bible later talks about in 2 Samuel that he fights a Philistine related to Goliath. And the crazy thing is, like, okay, oh my God, there's too many to say about this. All right. So you can't pick up, okay, David now being a king, a crown, dropping the shepherd's staff. You're not going to use a slingshot in a king fight. You got swords now. All right. So what I feel is that sometimes you want to use a slingshot in a fight that you have to use a sword. You getting me what I'm trying to say with this, right? So now going into like something you got to drop. Something people are like, God, tú me llamaste hacer esto. Tell me to do this. I need a sign from you. And God sometimes doesn't give you that sign because your assignment's over. There's nothing else to do there. Necio. Like you seriously.
So you have to pivot. You have to.
Yeah, no.
Right.
There's a change, and sometimes God tells you like stop. Like, dude, you gotta stop. Like, there's people that don't know to stop, to quit it. Like, look, you cannot fight a season of sword fighting with a slingshot. You got to put the slingshot down and get your sword. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, God was asking him, like, looking for him. After he stops and chills and just sits there. He stopped looking to wind, fire. I was about to say ice. Whoops. Wind and fire and the earthquake. He sits there. God comes to him. Sometimes you got to stop and rest to hear God for what's your next move. All right. He talks to him. He's like, all right, so you're going to start doing more prophetic acts and take down more false prophets. No, it didn't happen. That didn't change. The role changed. You're going to go out and anoint kings. And if I'm not mistaken, in English, sacerdotes are priests. Right? So you're going to go anoint kings and priests. The mission changes. You got to, like you say, you kind of pivot it, but you pick something up.
You're right.
It's like with basketball. They don't play every season. You switch to football. From football, you switch to what? You switch to baseball, right? Whatever the order is. After baseball, you do golf. Nah, I don't know if it's golf, right? But tennis. I mean, the seasons change. Sports change. The temperature changes. So with new awakening seasons, or in Spanish, as we say, etapas, the role changes. That's why I believe that God is calling me to a new season. Personally, me, the role's going to change. I can't be doing the same things I did last season.
Right.
I don't know if that answered your question or just...
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's a very good answer. It's really like you have to pivot, right? You can't be necio. You can't be so focused on, I have to do this. I think it's also important, I just want to add to this, is that we could also ask God for signs, for new signs, for him to talk to you and say, okay, well, I thought I needed to go right, or I thought I need to go north, but show me or confirm that I do need to go north, or close that door and have me go somewhere else.
That's why my prayer lately has been this. I am not grabbing on to what God gives me, because he could change it, but he's not the God of the change. And I'm tired of church people trying to church me when I say this. The reason why God changes things is because the only way for you to see the 3D aspect of him is through change.
Ooh, I like that 3D view.
Because we be trying to see God in a 2D. Damn it, I love you. I love you. I just like talking to you like this. And this is a conversation on the phone we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unique, our relationship, because we honestly, like, it could be like in the daytime, morning, or anytime, and we start going into these deep conversations, and I feel like we're just like chatting.
Right now, we're just vibing. We vibing. That's it. We're just vibing. But it's like church people. Why I say church people? Because I have a relationship with God, and I'm not traditional about it. And I know you're the same.
Yeah, I'm not traditional. I think that's all man-made, and I think that God is about love
and man-made, connection. And man-made lets you see God in a 2D version. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to see God in a 2D version. I want to see him in a 3D version. Ooh. So with change, you start seeing, and the change spins you around, like how seasons, the temperature outside spins around. Right. We got fall, we got summer, we got winter, we got spring, autumn. Okay, all this, the spin. So we're able to see the world in a 3D aspect, because like some countries, it's only cold.
Right.
It's like, but I have felt cold, especially if you live up here in Cali, you feel the cold. All right. So to feel God, you need change. And change lets you see God in a 3D aspect, to where you go like, I'm really knowing God. That's why you got to stop holding on. Something God wants to change it, and you're holding on to it. Mm-hmm. That's why you need to do this. Because when you're like this, one, you be chilling, because to hold on to something takes too much energy.
Right.
Especially
when it's the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Trainings you.
Someone preach it, please. Dude, it's like it's all grabbed. So if you're like this, God changes and brings. And with that, you grow. Because without change, there's no growth.
Absolutely.
So you need to like be like, God, my prayer has been, God, take what you need to take, place what you need to place.
Exactly.
Because with that, You start getting out of your comfort zone with stuff. Because you start seeing God moves like this, like that. You know what's another problem we have? We limit God in a box. We limit God. He only moves in a certain way. You're grabbing onto that. You're grabbing onto that. You're grabbing onto that. Why are you grabbing onto that? You know, so if we start letting God do the changes, taking away, bringing in, dude, we start seeing God in a whole different 3D aspect, right? Like we just talked about.
Right.
And we end up moving into things that we didn't know. And we start building confidence with the Lord. And we start learning that God moves in different ways that we never have thought, neither imagined.
Exactly. And I think that this conversation went into a deep conversation. But I think that, can you imagine all the people that are stuck in fear? We're over here talking about the whole 360 view and stuff. But there's people that are so scared and on hold that they miss out on all this. So going back to fear.
I just want to take this time to stop.
Yeah.
I want to say that Ruby's awesome.
Oh, she's awesome.
Dude, because she's like she's going crazy there. Like she's like putting the stuff. You just want to take that. Okay, keep going. Sorry. My bad.
She's amazing. So going back to fear, we're so like into a whole different level that we're talking about like 360 dimension. People here stuck. Can't even get to that level.
Wait, no, and then you just talked about levels because there's different levels of fear you put yourself into.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Dios mío. A whole different
Padre
revelation.
No, yeah, because the thing is, people be talking about, you know what? The church needs to start addressing this. Because we talk about, look, I get into that mistake. I'm a preacher. We be pumping you up. All right, it's time to go up to that new level. You know, new levels. I don't know if you ever heard this. They go like, new levels, new devils. It's time to lift up. Sometimes new levels bring the same devils. And you know, and then you're talking about this. Now we don't address that there's new levels of fear with new levels of power. That's what I just thought right now. New levels of power come with new levels of fear. Mm-hmm. The higher you climb the mountain, the much more you start seeing how high up you are, and you start getting you start getting so scared of how high you are.
Oh yeah, I have to say, one time I went skydiving, and we went through Ruby went with Ruby. And
she was like, oh yeah.
I know she remembers that, but there was two different levels. There were the 13,000 feet, and then there was there was three. 10,000 feet, 13,000 feet, and 18,000 feet.
Bro, I hate that so bad.
And you know, my sister Ruby and I were just like, we're going to go see the whole different dimension, right? We're going to the highest mountain. We're going to 18,000 feet. So
you're making me sweat with that.
It was such an amazing experience because there was 3 different levels, and the airplane was full of people. It was packed, and when it was the 10,000 feet, a group of people jumped out and left the airplane, and then there was another level of the 13,000 feet, and another group left. And then there was only few of us that went to the 18,000 feet because only few people, there was 3 people. Okay, she remembers only 3 people. So it was just her and I, and then one more person. Only very few people are willing to jump higher because everyone else is scared. Let me go something smaller because I can't take that risk. I can't go.
So there's levels of bravery?
Yes, the same way there's levels of fear, there's levels of bravery.
You just made me think about something when we were much smaller. Get ready, everyone will laugh. Remember when you took me to X2? Dude, man. I remember when we went to X2. I'm just getting nervous just thinking about it. It's because everyone knows the record. I used to be so scared of rides. Or remember that one time when you took me on the freeway? Oh my God! All right, that's funny. All right, let's go with that one. So I was learning how to drive, right? I was learning how to drive, and then I was like, like that. Like I remember, like you're like, get in the freeway, Danny. I'm like, no, get in the freeway. I just took the freeway, dude. And then you know what's the funnier part? Like, dude, my body was so tense. It was so tense, and I was like, like that. And remember that one time I thought that car was gonna hit us, so I turned to the other lane and I missed our exit.
Yes. and he just kept driving. But
and
it was okay. Like, it was okay.
But check this out. It's because when we hit the street, it didn't seem so scary as the freeway.
Yeah.
So now I want to get to this. Sometimes you power up so heavily in bravery that when you start seeing small things from down below, or you sometimes have to revisit things, you're in a whole different level. Yeah. So and then you're like, psh, what? Like, you know, because you've grown from it. Because faith grows by works, but also bravery does too.
Right. So that fear went to a whole different level because it started from fear, but then, you know, you had your sister that she's like, no, you're doing that. You're going all the way. And you were so scared. But the thing is that
so bad.
When you went into the freeway and I was like, step on it. And you're just like, and sometimes that's what's important, to have positive people in front of you, next to you in your
Sweet
life.
Jesus, speak to us,
because
please.
when you have the right people next to you that push you to do better things, bigger things, you're able to do a lot more. And so you went into that freeway, and I think after that, it's history. Everything else was easy. Everything was a breeze.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then you said that, so you need people around you, the right people, to push you in. New season calls for new people. That's why you can't, dude. Oh man, this reminds me of something else. When Abishai, okay, we're not talking about Shepherd Boy David. We're talking about King David. Enters into the battle. I was reading this with Ruby. Enters into battle. We see Abishai pop out. All right, this dude was like, my lord, you know, like all, like imagine all fancy, right? Like a king's knight, like my lord. He's all like that and whatever. He's almost getting taken down and cornered by this Philistine over here. That, by the way, was his sword weighed half of Goliath's. Half. Mm-hmm. But then Abishai just comes in and starts attacking. Like, I got you. Okay, takes him down. He's like, my lord, I will not leave your side. Like that. And then he tells him to go rest and not to continue the fight. Why? Because he's in a whole different level. When you're a king, you command dudes to fight. I need you to take down this guy. Obviously, you need to get your hands dirty because they're like getting to the palace. All right, well, you know, I'm getting them from movies, right? Like, you know, if you're getting to the palace, like, dude, just give me that sword, because they say he would get Goliath's sword and start fighting. I mean, sorry, the sword that he used, well, technically it's the same sword to chop off his head, right? So, and then they start fighting, you know, whatever. But he tells him, my lord, go back to the palace. You know, am I putting my own words? Because, dude, you're your king. Like, what are you doing? Trying to act like a shepherd boy. And you look, and this is opening to a whole different level where your mentality needs to be ready to take on the new season of your life. Because you cannot use teenage tactics in a grown-up fight. All right, so what I want to get to with that, slingshots don't work, like I said, on seasons of crowns and swords. Mm-hmm. All right, so you can't use what you used to use as a teenage boy or you know, as you could put it, a woman. Yeah. And you can't use that in the same season. You can't use that. And sometimes you think just because in one season you were able to dominate on your own, you end up activating that as pride on the new one. So when you get new help, you reject it. You reject it. Like, there was this one thing they told me, that there was this dude sinking once, and then a plane went to go visit him. He said he was waiting for God. A boat came. He was waiting for God. A canoe came. He said God came for. He died. He went up to heaven. He's all like, why are you here? My Lord, well, I was waiting for you to save me. Didn't you see the plane, the boat, and the canoe? Mm-hmm. So sometimes we get help in human form. But there be these people, though, that reject it. So there's a season where you rely just on God. Mm-hmm. And God's the one that's going to take you out. And you're on your own. You're on your own. Like how Daniel was in the den of the lion's den. He was on his own. Mm-hmm. But there's other times where you're surrounded by people and you can't distinguish. So you're taking strategies that were from one time to the other, and that makes you just prideful. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's when you start stinking of arrogance. And God goes like, you're not doing this alone. I mean, I'm with you, but I'm providing the help for you to do it. You're just throwing it to the side.
Right.
You're just being an ignoramus at this point. Like, come on. Like, honestly. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And we forget that God is the one that is doing everything for us, giving us the right tools. And like you said, different season requires different skill sets, requires different people for you to enter a whole different dimension.
I was just drinking water. I put it down because you just blew my mind with two things. One, the different tools. I am not going to... I work in construction. Sometimes you're not going to use a drill all the time. Sometimes you have to switch to a hammer. Right. And you're not going to use an impact drill all the time. You're going to have to use a drill driver. You're going to have to use a hammer drill. All right. And sometimes you're going to have to switch blades. It's like... So what do I want to get to with this? You just talk about people. Different people. Sometimes you want to hold on to the same people that were used in one season, but that's why new people come in. New season, new people, new season, new anointing, new season, new prosperity. And when I talk about prosperity, I'm not talking about dough. I'm talking about what's around you. Because what prospers you in life is what's around you. Now take this. Let's take this. There are new resources. Don't let the resource dominate you. God gave us things to control, not to control, to maneuver and to minister. You can't let resources from one season dominate you. It's because I need this person. I need this around me. They go like that. Oh my God. You know, like that. Like, I need that. You know? And it's like, the resource changed. And when the resource changes, you need to learn how to identify that. You're not going to be ministering the same thing, child. Not stupid. I just had to say that. Sorry. Like, you're not going to be ministering the same thing. It changes. It changes.
It's definitely different. And that's how we are able to mature in different levels. And I think it's important to tell our audience, well, because we're saying, well, you need new people. You need new equipment. You need new skill sets. But how do I get there? How do I get all the new skill sets? How do I get the right people in my life? And I think that let's not forget to ask God to give us the wisdom that we need, right? Because everything comes from the wisdom that God gives us, that connection with God. He will guide us to say, hey, don't use this, use this. That's how we get there. That's how we're able to maneuver things. That's how we're able to find the right people, is allowing God to move in our lives.
No. It's I heard this one lady once, dude. I heard this one. You know how it is being a PK, dude. Which, you know what that means? It means pastor's kid. Dude, I be talking to this new friend I have. I love you, Caleb. Happy birthday to him. His birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday.
You see? So, yeah, he's with Mies. They're coming down here next month. Oh, no, I just revealed it. See, they're coming here next month. All right, so anyway. They kind of know already. All right, I just got too excited. So, I was telling him that there was this one lady. I was just like, my God, dude. Sometimes you just try to, how can I put this? You try to force in what can't fit. So, like, with this new switch, sometimes the new switch, God gives you something that can't fit there. Like, it can't fit. It must go. And that's when you become a hoarder.
You can't let go of the old stuff, right?
Yeah, you become a hoarder. Dude, I just got it. I can make a sermon about that. Spiritual hoarding? I was about to say... Dude, that came out so bad.
I mean that's a good sermon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would work. We should probably do it together here. Yeah, we should just give it here, to give it as a topic. But
yeah, love it.
It's like, and then this lady was like, there was this lady, dude, that she would save everything. Especially we know this guy. We don't want to mention names, but we know a guy that is a hoarder. And then but I know this lady, she was like, hermano, es porque me gusta guardar todo de los años de los 60s, lo guardo todo, like, you know, like
those bell bottoms.
Yeah, no, like, me encantan mis campanas y like, no sé qué, yeah. Remember that one girl? Vamos al 7-11 now. But like, dude, it's like, oh, mis campanas. He like, you know, los, how do you, those things that girls use to hold their hair like that, whatever. Like those, you know what I'm talking about, right? Those, like they look like a giant C or whatever. Like, oh, sorry. Like you know, cosas para mi pelo, hasta tengo extensiones de los 80s. Okay, and I'm just like, dude, all right, no, and I'm just like, let go, and it like he's like, ma, tienes que tirar todo eso, the sun, right? Like, ma, tienes que, no, lo guardo, es porque tu tío, no sé qué, no sé cuánto me lo dio y lo estoy deteniendo aquí, like, no lo voy a tirar. Okay, the sun throws it away.
Oh, wow.
That dude throws it away. He's like, ah! He's just like, she just got all scared, dude. And then like my friend told me, like, se iba a desmayar. She was gonna faint, dude. And then like he threw it all the way. Dude, she kept cookies from God. Years ago in the fridge.
Please don't tell me she kept McDonald's burgers for years.
People do that.
Yeah.
They be doing that.
And I've heard that the burger looks exactly the same than how they purchased it many years ago.
But what I want to get to is this. God will force you to remove it. And it will hurt. If you don't remove it when he tells you to, it's going to hurt after. Because you're so stuck to it emotionally. Oh, whoa.
Well, the detachment, right? I think that people have a hard time detaching from things.
That's how it's go. Let's go. That's how it is. And then, so she was so attached. She went to the dumpster. Take all her stuff out.
Oh,
it's like, mío, me lo tiraste todo. Y fue like dumpster diving, like in Spanish, que es like nadando en la basura. Nah. Like, it's like se fue, agarró todas sus cosas. I was like, dude. And then, like he was like, man, no hagas eso, lo tiré ahí, tíralo, déjalo. Like, no, mijo, eso tiene, like. So she took it out, even though they threw stuff on top of like food.
Oh.
We're talking about
good.
LA where like bums could go up and pee in that stuff, man. And she takes it out, whatever. So what I want to get to, the attachment. There's too much of a bond with it. That's where we go back to the hand thing. Like, don't grab, dude. It will hurt when you take it out. Point is, the thing smelled so bad, they had to throw it out. They threw it out.
So at the end of the day, even she fought it, right? She was being very like defensive about it. She was fighting it, and at the end of the day, they still had to end up throwing it away. And that gives me a whole vision of like when God is trying to talk to us, and He's like, let go of the wrong people, let go of the wrong things. And we are like so stuck in our ways and we're refusing. And sometimes we could be scared. Well, let's go back to that. People are scared to let go. And fear is taking over them. But once you let go and you're free from people, free from objects, free from anything, you're free from fear. Your freedom is so much worth it after everything is, taken in place and allowing God to do everything that He needed to do.
Kind of reminds me of the Israelites when they were complaining to Moses. They're like, the hell, why'd you bring us here to die, man? You brought us here to our own grave? Like, we should have just stayed in Egypt. And Egypt symbolizes the attachment you once had.
Right.
That's why that's just nasty.
So maybe a lot of people in 2022 grabbed onto things and still have that attachment.
They still have 2021. Screw that. They still got the 90s on them. Not stupid.
The 60s.
But like they still got the year. Like, do you know there's people that are still scared of COVID? Like stuff like that.
People are still traumatized from the whole pandemic, right? I think people are scarred and traumatized. But I think that we want to focus on a new year, 2023. And maybe in 2022, we have bad habits, we have bad personalities, we have bad things in our lives, bad people, anything bad.
Circles that gotta go.
Circles, objects, anything that we have maybe in our house
positions,
anything that is not godly, things that God told you to remove it and you're fighting it. I think it's time to start moving those things. It's time to let go. It's time to detach. It's time to go into a new season being free and not having that fear with
Do you believe in toxic attachments?
Yes, 100%.
Hell yeah. No, people, you know, I saw this one post on Instagram. Like, dude, like, soy mamá tóxica. Like, but like, there was a video. She's like, "Ha, me encanta ser tóxica." Like, I was like, dude, what the hell? And you know what's something sad? People like living that lifestyle of just being stuck. They enjoy that.
Yeah.
They enjoy that.
And things are toxic, right? It's like eating bad food and it's toxic to you, and people still eat it. Like, why are you eating it? You know it's bad for you, right? But sometimes the fulfillment of the moment is greater, and that's why people do it.
Oh my God! So it's like filling the void.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop here, because if not,
I think we'll just go on all night.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna stop here. But this was good. I
This
mean,
is really good. I'm really I'm walking away with so much new material
word.
for the next season.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got that. That's the good. But like, oh, honestly, because I still like feel like I haven't, like, the button's there, but I haven't like. Yeah. So that's why, like, we're getting prepared.
Yeah, and that's okay. God uses the time between transitions of seasons where He's preparing you. So that transition of your season is preparation for you to enter into your new season.
We gotta cut it out now. You're still
That's to be continued.
You're still rolling, dude.
That's to be continued.
You're still rolling. Alright. Well, as I always say, obviously what I always say, but one first, it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
That's right. Not because you're my sister, but you're my friend too.
Oh.
And second, you're at. She knows what that means. That means you're cool.
Yeah, that means we're cool. Everybody's cool.
But as I always say, Uncion out. See you on the next one. Amen. Yeah, man. Woo!